Hello, a very good afternoon to all of you. In the last lecture, we have seen the Unit 6, and in that Unit 6, we have seen about the black box testing. So today, we are going to start with another type of testing, which is white box testing. So in the last lecture, we have already seen what is black box. Black box means basically it is enclosed. So the functionality or actual implementation of the code is hidden. We are only testing input and what is output. So this was the black box testing. Now today we are going to see the white box testing. White box testing, as the name itself specifies, white box is usually transparent. We can see everything what is there in that particular white box. The same concept is used here, and that's why this testing is known as the white box testing. It means that we can thoroughly test the code or the implementation of the system. Okay, when the system is in the development phase, at that time only white box testing is used, and when the system is completely implemented, at that time black box testing is used. So first white box testing is used, and then the black box testing is used. In the last lecture, we have also seen multiple types of black box testing. Today we are going to see white box testing and many more testings in detail. Now, what is white box testing? Given knowledge of internal workings, you thoroughly test what is happening on the inside, which I just explained it to you. Close examination of procedural level of detail. White box testing is basically used to closely examine each and every procedure that we are implementing in the code. Then in the white box testing, logical path through the code is tested. Okay, now what exactly it is tested? As we are saying that white box testing tests the complete code of the system that we are developing here. It tests the multiple conditionals, whatever multiple conditions we are handling in the code, whether they are satisfying for true as well as false, both the cases we are going to test. Then we are going to test the loops, the start and end of the loop, whether the loops are working correctly. For the right input, they should give the right output, and for the wrong input they should give the wrong output. All these things are checked. Then we are going to check the branches, different path of the branches, how they execute. Exhaustive testing we are going to we are going to perform in the branches. Then status is examined in terms of expected values. This is white box testing, as you can see on the screen. Test case input is given. Then there are multiple squares and rounds, circles inside the white box. Inside the white box, consider there is an application code. The black boxes, consider those all black boxes are the functions, multiple functions or loops, and all the arrows shown, these are the branches that we are going to check. So all the multiple loops, all the multiple functions are checked inside the application code, and whatever test case output that we are getting, we are going to check that along with the input, whether the output is correct or not, whether that particular loops or branches are working correct or not. Now, it is impossible to thoroughly exercise all the paths in case of white box testing, as we cannot find out all the possible combinations or all the possible paths through which, if we provide any certain type of input, how your code will behave, right? So basically, there are some limitations of the white box testing. Actually, it is impossible to thoroughly exercise all the paths, but we try 80% to check the complete code. 20% can be plus minus for the testing, as complete 100% testing is not possible for the white box testing. Then exhaustive testing grows without the bound. It may happen that sometimes you find so many multiple paths that it becomes completely exhaustive to test the complete system or to test the complete function. It can be practical if a limited number of important paths are evaluated, and it can be practical to examine and test important data structures only. So first of all, it is recommended, in order to avoid these disadvantages, find out which are the important data structures. For example, if you are using ArrayList and if you are using the hash map, please check all those things which store your critical data, and then search for the different branches or paths accordingly. Okay, so This was about the white box testing. Then there are multiple testing techniques under the white box testing. What are the different testing techniques we are going to see? Statement coverage. What is meant by statement coverage? Each and every implementation of the statement, each and every execution of the statement inside a code. Then a branch coverage, a complete branch. If else conditions are there, for loop conditions are there, in that case the complete branching is considered there. Then the condition coverage, checking all the conditions. Multiple conditions coverage, nesting conditions are there, multiple conditions are used simultaneously, that is checked. Basis part testing is there, loop testing is there. All these type of testing techniques are implemented under the white box testing. Again, I'm repeating, white box testing is done when the system is in the developing phase, and black box testing is done when the system is in the completed phase. Okay, white box testing is usually done by the software developers, and black box testing is usually done by the professional testers. Okay, so these are the things about the white box testing. Now the next type of testing we are going to cover is unit testing. Unit testing, a single unit means when a complete code is divided into different number of units. We are going to test each and every unit, each and everything as a single unit. Your code can be divided into multiple functions. Now you can say a single function as a, you can consider a single function as a unit, or you can consider some group of statements as a unit. You can consider a whole class as a unit. It depends upon you, how you are choosing one single unit for your code. So we are going to check one unit by unit individually. This is known as unit testing. Individual units or components of a software are tested. Then unit testing is performed by using white box method. It means complete functionality inside that particular unit is tested. This unit testing is performed by the software developers themselves or their peers. Anyone can develop. Then unit testing, it increases the confidence in changing and maintaining the code. Unit testing is usually done right from the starting of the development of the software, because if you are developing one single unit, it is tested. Output of that unit is correct, then the next unit is developed and then it is tested. If there is a requirement to change something to get more correct and accurate output, then it is done. One unit is complete, it is kept aside, and then next unit is developed, then it is tested. In such a way, multiple number of individual units are developed and multiple number of individual units are tested. The cost of fixing a defect detected during the unit testing is lesser in comparison to that of defects detected at the higher levels. By doing unit testing, we are avoiding the cost of having the bugs at the end of the software development directly, because it will be very costly, as there will be so many bugs due to one single mistake. If we are doing unit testing in the earlier stage only, you will find out what is the mistake, and it will be easier to track those particular mistakes, to correct it, and to get the correct output. That's why it is recommended to do the unit testing for a lesser number of bugs. Then these codes are more reusable and the development is faster if you are doing the unit testing. Okay, below the diagram is shown, there are different stages of testing whatever we are doing. First is unit testing, next is integration, then the system testing, and the acceptance testing throughout the development of the software. So the basic step of testing is unit testing when the software is in the developing phase. Okay, next step is the integration testing. Now, as integration means integrating one or two different units together and then they are tested. So individual units which were tested using the unit testing, now individual units are combined together and they are tested as a group. I want to explain one example here. Consider we are producing ball pens. Everyone knows what is a ball pen, as everyone are using the ball pen. So in unit testing, what happens is all the units are produced separately in a factory. For example, cover of the pen, the front end of the pen, then the tail of the pen, then the what we say cover of the pen, that topan, मराठीत आपण त्याला टोपण म्हणतो, right? So that of the pen, all these things are developed separately. So when all these things are developed separately and they are tested for their behavior, so this is unit testing. Cover of the pen, whether it is in perfect dimension or not, whether the cover is in perfect dimension or not, color, all the things are tested separately. In integration testing, what happens when we club two things together? For example, cover of the pen, that outer cover of the pen in which we post the ink and the lead, and the upper cover of the pen, ज्याला आपण टोपण म्हणतो. When both the things are combined, is that are both of things joined together perfectly? If their dimensions are correct, probably they will be joined together. But if their dimensions are not correct, they will not be compatible with each other. This is what integration testing is. So to expose the faults in the interaction between integrated units, the main purpose of this integration testing is to expose the faults in integration between different integrated units. It may be possible that in unit testing you're not getting any of the faults in your particular units, but when you integrate the same units, you may get some kind of error. Test drivers and test stubs are used to assist in integration testing, and any of the black box testing, white box testing, or gray box testing methods can be used. Okay, one more new thing is mentioned here, gray box testing. What is gray box testing? When white box and black box testing are combined together, as a result we get the gray box testing. It is altogether new topic. Next step is system testing. A complete and integrated software is tested. As a complete system is developed, then that system testing is done. Black box testing method is used here. Then to evaluate the system's compliance with the specified requirements. Whatever specified requirements were given, whether your system is giving the same output, whether your system is meeting all those requirements, all these things are checked, and hence the system testing is done. It is actually a process of testing an integrated system to verify that it meets the specified requirements, and black box testing is used to do the system testing. Okay, this is the overall system testing after the development of the software. Then next is the acceptance testing. Acceptance testing is actually a system is tested for the acceptability. Now, to evaluate the system's compliance with the business requirements and assess whether it is acceptable for the delivery or not. Now, when your complete system testing is done, you have to check for its acceptance before delivering the product to the customer. This is the last step of testing, and again black box testing method is used. There can be multiple criteria for the acceptance testing based upon the product, based upon the software, whatever you are designing. There can be different parameters for this acceptance testing. Then the next is GUI testing. Okay, so the next is GUI testing. I'm sorry for the interruption in between. Next is the GUI testing. This GUI is graphical user interface, as we all know, as you all are developing different projects. It checks the graphical user interface of the application under the test. It involves basically GUI contains multiple text box, what are the colors on the screen, what are the menus, what are the buttons, icons, all types of bars, that is toolbar, menu bar, dialog box, windows, etc. All these things are properly displayed or not. All these things are checked or tested here. Now, to ensure the user interface functionality, it works as per the specification. Then what are the another major things that we are going to check? Whether the font is readable. As GUI, it is the user interface. User is going to interact with the GUI to interact with the system. It is an interface provided between user and the system, so it should be perfect. There should not be any misunderstanding, or there should not be any misbehaving between the particular GUI and the system. So your font should be readable, your color should be visible. You cannot write all the things in white if your screen is white, right? So everything should be displayed correctly and clearly to the user. That is what GUI testing is. Then the next one is the scenario testing. So a software testing technique that makes best use of the scenarios. Now your system scenarios can be use case and the role based scenarios. Now scenario, you can create a scenario at the time when you are developing the software. When the product is unstable, scenario testing becomes complicated. Scenario testing are not designed for the test coverage. Scenario tests are often heavily documented and used time and again. So whether that particular scenario is working correctly or not, this is checked in the scenario testing. A complete scenario is designed. You can decide a scenario, whether you have to decide a scenario for multiple modules, whether for a single module. You can decide what one single scenario can be for your particular project, and then you can have the scenario testing. The behavior of the scenario should be proper as per the given input and the output. Then the next one is the performance testing. Now, performance testing, in that performance of the system or the performance of the software is checked here. So a non-functional testing technique performed to determine the system parameters in terms of responsiveness and stability under various workload. So what can be the parameters for the performance testing? Scalability, reliability, and resource usage, and many more parameters can be included in your system if there are some which you want to test. In the performance testing, there are multiple techniques that are included. You can have a load testing, stress testing, soak testing, spike testing. There are multiple techniques that are included under the performance testing. Then open source, some performance testing open source tools are also available here. So JMeter, OpenSTA, LoadRunner, WebLoad, etc. are the open performance testing open source tools. So this was all about the performance testing that we have seen till now. Test cases and test plan. Now, while testing anything, we have to write the test cases, and before writing the test cases, there should be a test plan that is ready with you. Okay, so what is a test plan that we are going to see first? A test plan can be defined as a document that defines the scope, objective, and approach to test the software application. Like we have a planning for developing the software, in the same way, there is a software testing lifecycle, which also had some testing plans. What you're going to test, how you're going to test, what exactly tools you're going to use while testing, what are the different steps, what planning you're going to do for testing that particular system or software, and that complete planning and the document is known as the test plan. The test plan is known as a super document that defines the complete scope of the project, roles and responsibilities, risks entry, and the exit criteria, test objective, and any things that you can think of. Now, what is a test case? It is a step-by-step procedure that is used to test an application. A test case means a single test case. For example, a condition. If there is an if condition and there are multiple certain instructions inside that if condition. So we are going to provide one condition which follows, which is true for the if condition. Whether the instructions are executed successfully or not, that we are going to check. Then in that, this is one test case. In the next test case, we are going to provide one input such that if the condition is false. Now, when the condition is false for that particular input, it should not enter into the loop and it should not execute those instructions. Okay, so this is the expected output that we want. If your system is behaving differently than this, then basically there is an error. If your system is behaving in the same way as the output that we want, then your test case is successful. Such one conditions are there which give us multiple test cases. These are known as the test cases. That's why a test case is known as a step-by-step procedure that is used to test an application. Now it is done manually. Then the term test case is used in the manual testing environment, and test case is usually developed in the form of template. There is a template is provided, some format is there. That template actually includes the test case ID, the test data, test procedure, actual results, expected results, and all the things. By seeing one single template of the test case, a third person can also understand what you have tested from the software, what was the expected result, and what actual result you have got. So you have to, at the end, you have to write the result, whether your test, your that particular function or the condition has passed the test or it has failed the test. If your actual output is same as the expected output or nearer to the expected output, then we can say that it has passed the test. But if your actual output is totally different from the expected output, then what we can conclude that it has failed the test. This is how you represent the test cases. Okay, then it is the best form to test an application in a sequence. This is the test case template that you can see on the screen. See, test case ID is shown there, 2.2 at the, you can see the cursor on the screen. This is the test case ID 2.2. Then system is the ATM system. Test case name is change pin. They are having test case for this change pin function. This is the first test case as page 1 of 1 is written. Then designed by ABC, name of the designer. Subsystem is pin. Design date, the date is written. executed by, execution date. Short description is test the ATM change pin service, whether it is working correctly or not. Then the preconditions are mentioned here, then in how many steps you are checking, what actions you are taking, expected system response, whether it is pass or fail, and the comment. Okay, and what are the post conditions? Now the new pin is saved in the database. So after testing, these are the post conditions. Before testing, preconditions. All the things are mentioned. This is a test case template. Now remember, guys, these test cases, all different types of testing, this can be asked in the examination. Test case template can also be asked in the examination. So please learn the test case template and be prepared with one example of the test case template. It may be asked in the examination for you to write the test cases for any of the example given to you, or write the testing plan for the example given to you. You should be prepared for that. Okay, so please learn the test case templates also. Thank you. This was all for the 6th unit, and we have covered almost all the topics of the 6th unit. Now the case studies for the 6th unit are remaining. So as an assignment, you have to write 1 or 2 case studies by your own to test it. I'm going to post the assignment on the Genomio website. Okay, please visit the website for the assignment. And also I'm going to upload this video for the completion of the 6th unit on the Genomio website. Similar with the other videos. Okay, also these videos are uploaded on the YouTube on my channel Ketki Bhoyer. Please search on the YouTube, you will get my channel. Please subscribe my channel, as all the videos related to software modeling and design of unit 5 and 6 are available there, and all the videos regarding post practicals are also available there, so you can refer. Okay, happy learning, stay home, stay safe. Thank you all of you.